Where'd I go? There I am. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Love and War. This is the Queen Bee, the Kate Murphy. You can find me on Instagram at the Kate Murphy, and you can find me on Twitter at the Kate Murphy _. And joining me this week and every week is my partner in crime, King Rickie Rose. What's going on, buddy?
I'm surprisingly sober. But yeah, no, I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. There's really nothing to complain about today.
It's a good
So
day.
so far, yeah, it's a good day. It's a new day. Yes, it is. So let's get this started. What are we talking about today?
Alrighty. So this week we're going to talk about first dates.
Ew.
Ew. Why ew? Do you not like first dates?
It's not my level of expertise. Sometimes I don't get to the first date, but who knows?
I
Um,
feel that like spiritually. I think the older I get, the less frequently I can acquire a first date.
it's harder to get a first date when you get older.
Yeah, I feel like you just have to message somebody enough to get them to ask you out, or inversely have the balls to ask somebody else out, and it never gets that way.
But also, what do people consider dates though? Like,
That's the thing. I don't know anymore what a date is.
neither do I. Like, is going out for drinks a date? Is like I mean, dinner's obviously your classic date, but like just going out for lunch and stuff like what constitutes a date in this day and age? Like I feel like it was a lot easier when a couple years ago, but now things have just become more and more complex.
So when I was drinking, for example, like my standard like first like date, so to speak, I would always just like go for drinks like first, and
Yeah.
then get, if it like went well, then like continue it and go to like dinner or do something. Like I
Okay.
like, and now that I'm sober and stuff, like I've just replaced. I'll still go to a bar. I'm like, oh, let's go get a drink or something. And I'll just have like my seltzer, or I'll like,
hmm
oh, or I like, now that I'm old, I like day dates now.
You like to go out because you get some sleep at night.
Yeah, I'm home. Go
So
out
what do
for go out for breakfast, like have coffee, do like an activity or something, like be home by dinner.
breakfast is such a weird date though, don't you think?
I don't know, I love breakfast.
I mean, who doesn't? But like, as a first date,
First date, probably not. First date, I would do like coffee or something. If I was doing
hmm
something during the day, like start with coffee and then go do something else.
okay, so like coffee is like your meeting place.
Yeah, coffee is like where it starts, and then like say if we're gonna do a movie, so we'll go get coffee, we'll go to a movie,
hmm
and then you go get dinner or something after to talk about the movie. Like people that do dinner before the movie, I don't get.
Because you do movie before dinner and because it
Do
gives you
something to
something to
talk
talk
about.
about.
Yeah. People are like, I like to do dinner first. I'm like, well, you're wrong, but okay.
Have you ever
But
done like a movie and a dinner date?
like movie first, then dinner.
Yeah.
Yes. My first date with my very shitty ex-boyfriend
Which one?
was Dean.
Okay.
He's the very, very bad one. He's the one I dated for 4 years. He's the one that forbade me from watching wrestling because he was like butthurt about John Cena being hot.
All right. I
Dead
mean,
ass.
some things you kind of just deal with.
Yeah, like, no shit, John Cena's hotter than you, but that's not why I watched wrestling.
Yeah,
But
it seems like you had some issues.
so many. So on our very first date, it was when Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 had come out. I had
Okay.
seen it. I had seen it already. He hadn't, but obviously I'm a diehard Harry Potter fan. Recently converted Hufflepuff, and so I go see the. Don't roll your eyes at me.
Should have stayed Slytherin. Stay with the
It
dark
wasn't
side.
meant to be.
Yes, it
I'm
was.
too bubbly and too colorful now
You're
to
lost.
truly feel. Yeah, it's bizarre. So I softened up in my old age. So we went to go see Deathly Hallows, and then we went to Applebee's after.
Nice.
No,
Applebee's.
the
Applebee's is
date.
what? Applebee's is a great time. There's nothing wrong with Applebee's at all.
I have to say, I really did like Applebee's a lot. Cause I went to school in Miller Place, so there's an Applebee's right in Miller Place, and that was just a spot where after every chorus concert, after the plays, every Friday you go for half offs. So we went to like we went to school together. We went to like our hometown Applebee's where we ran into like 30 people we went to high school with.
Of course, eating good in the neighborhood. Come on.
But if you want to eat good in the neighborhood, eat good in someone else's neighborhood. But
So
like,
go to another Applebee's.
no, he didn't want to. But the date, like, and I should have like stopped it at the first date because I was like singing because I was, again, theater kid, like super obnoxious, and he's like, "You're not a good singer." He's like, "You shouldn't sing like ever again."
Wow, all right, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah, on the first date, and he's like, "You're more ego than talent." I'm like, and then I just didn't sing until we broke up.
You're like, oh my God, you're so dreamy. Yes, whatever.
But he wasn't though.
So, like, what attracted you to him?
I was dumb, probably. Well,
What's
no,
high school?
when we were, because I started dating him when I was 19, he was 21. So it was like after high school, and in school he was like a bully to me. Like he was super mean to me because he thought I was cute or whatever, but like acted like a 5-year-old. But I thought he was smart, and I liked that he was into like nerdy stuff. Like he's like very, very into video games, and he's like super into, and he's into music as well, but he likes like hipster shit. And he's like the standard poster boy for a hipster.
Oh, so he's opinionated for no reason.
Yes, exactly. So like when he wore Converse, skinny jeans, scarves all the time. He bought fake fucking glasses.
Hey, I like the fake glasses. Look, I used to rock fake glasses for a little bit. It's a great way to switch things up.
But I can't explain it. I took him to a My Chemical Romance concert, and he wore a button-up and a vest, and then got mad that the vest got he got mad that the vest got ruined at the pit. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have worn a fucking vest.
Who wears a vest?
Him all the time. Vest, bow tie, button-up, skinny jeans, Converse.
Wow. I'm learning so much about you right now.
Yeah, we fought. This is when I think I was a redhead for the majority of that relationship because he liked redheads. I had black hair.
You are very accommodating.
I was a pushover and stupid, and relationships like that exist so you learn from them, and you learn whatever bad behavior you have, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned, like, he was the sort of person that, like, he thought my piercings were juvenile, and he, like, kind of didn't like that I was, 19 and still, like, an emo kid, so he wanted me to dress more mainstream, so I started wearing colors more and button-ups, and I took my piercings out. I let my ears shrink back to normal, like, a lot of uncharacteristic things for me. Because, like, growing up, like, as a teenager, I was very much, like, my own person, like, lived out of my own box, and then this dude came along, and, like, even on that first date, like, that first date was a sign that this should not work out. This is not your person. Run the fuck away. So first dates, like, as much as they're really easy to make fun of, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention, and you can see your whole future on a first date, I think.
It's really hard. I mean, because I feel like it's one of those things, like, first dates are like first impressions. You only get one chance, like, I guess, kind of make them. But then again, by the time you get to a first date, haven't you already, like, made your impression?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially this day and age. I mean, you've met, you've talked, there's something, and then you guys go on a date. Like, it's never really spontaneous these days where you meet somebody, and you're like, hey, do you want to go to get dinner one day? And, like, that's the only conversation you have with the person.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. And then
that
whole Dean story, like, was also different because I had known him for 4 years before we dated.
So there's some familiarity.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I found also, like, as I've gotten older, like, because I don't date as much, and I feel that the people I've, like, gone out with or have, like, spent time with, I've known in some capacity, like, before, trying to, like, change it up a little bit.
Yeah, do you ever try to, like, date a stranger this day and age right now? It's weird.
It's scary.
I guess it's scary. I mean, I'm a big proponent of catfish, so yeah, it's really scary. But that's when you have to kind of just, like, do your due diligence of, like, vetting these people, like, making sure that, like, everything kind of syncs up.
Oh, yeah, I do a fuck ton of research if I'm, like, talking to somebody from Tinder. Like, I have to ensure that they have social media presence, because as much as, like, social media is annoying, if some guy's like, oh, I don't have any social media, I find that sketchy and scary.
Yeah, it's good to have a digital footprint from time to time.
And then, like, obviously, like, you share your location with your girlfriends. It's also different, like, being a woman or a female-bodied person. dating in this day and age. Because you have to go through 1,000 more steps than a dude does.
Yeah.
All you have to do is show up and not murder us.
Pretty much.
And it's such a fucked up way of thinking, but that's kind of the way like you have to operate. And I think having to operate with such a fearful mentality, it makes finding an intimate connection really hard.
Yeah, because everybody's thinking kind of negatively and not really thinking with a sense of optimism. Like, hey, this might work out. You're always looking for things that will potentially go wrong.
We have red flag glasses on before you even get there.
Really?
At least I feel like I do.
So what are your instant red flags?
I just have had so many like on the date or before I even get to the date. Because I feel like I go through I almost feel like I'm screening, preliminarily screening people, when I'm talking to online, and then if I actually meet people, then there's a separate process.
So let's get to the first date then, because you've obviously been able to they got through the pre-screening process. You committed to at least seeing them in person. So what are your in-person red flags?
I find I notice how often people are on their phone. I don't like to be out with somebody and they're glued to their phone.
Oh, that is a massive pet peeve of mine.
If I'm out with my friends, it's whatever. My best friend and I went out to dinner the other night and we were on our phones for a period of time, but that's different. But if you're on a date with me and you're constantly texting somebody repeatedly throughout the entire night, I'm just assuming you're on Tinder or talking to somebody else you'd rather be talking to. Because if you wanted to talk to me that badly, you talk to me and you put the fucking phone away. I hate that shit. And and it's even stupid little things that really irk me. If I'm out to dinner with somebody and they either are not a good tipper or if they're just rude.
Okay.
I hate that. I guess because I've worked in retail and food for so long. Kindness goes a really, really long way with me.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I get the whole phone thing because that ticks me off as well. Because I'm big about being in the moment and being experiential. I guess you would call it these days, which is a shame that I even have to say something like that. But it's more so if you're at an event or if you're out with somebody, and you're doing something together and it's supposed to be a you and them thing, put the phone away, be a part of the experience. You committed to spending time with somebody, so spend time with them and you can spend time with your phone later. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that really gets under my skin.
Even really with my friends and stuff, it started when my friends Rich and Caitlin got married 2 years ago. I made a comment the day after our breakfast and none of us are on our phones. No one has pictures. And since that,
no one has pictures.
No, there were no snaps. There were nothing. There was almost no evidence we were at that wedding. And I actually loved that. And we all kind of loved that. And then since that wedding has happened, we use our phones less and less and document less and less and less.
That's good.
We had a friends miss a couple weeks ago. And I think we forgot to take a group picture. And I think there's a picture of the table. And then our phones were away the whole night.
Well, that's good. You guys are actually enjoying the time together.
And it was fucking awesome. It's so much better living your life, not doing it through Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it all the time.
I was like that. You remember, I was very guilty of sharing everything.
But I still don't remember how much. I don't know how people have that much battery life on their phones to document stuff. I'll only document a lot of things going on if I'm on a vacation. Or if I'm doing stuff for the podcast and wrestling, and I want to give you access. It's the only time my Snapchat's even public to tell people I'm not around, but here's why I'm doing stuff. Yeah. But otherwise, I don't really. Honestly, I've stopped using Snapchat a lot.
Yeah, I changed my Snap because I just had too many people that I don't need seeing my life from people's lives I don't necessarily want to see. And since I changed over, I hardly use it.
It's good to do a purge.
I keep the social media at this point for to ensure that I'm a real person and that I'm not a catfish or somebody weird, and B for promotion for the podcast and then music stuff. Like, it's not fun. It's just a necessary evil at this point.
It still can be fun. You just got to find the right stuff to follow.
Yeah, dank memes help.
Dank memes help. Yes, yes, they do.
All right. So, tell me about the very first date you ever went on.
Oh my God.
Ever.
Like I said, it's really hard for me now to think about it because I'm like, what constituted like the first date ever? I am really gonna have to like. I'm cycling through a lot of years right now, which gets harder as you get older.
Yeah.
If we're gonna constitute a date, um, this would have to be. This would have to be high school, I guess. I guess, because like it's weird in high school. Because like there's parents involved and stuff, you know, and there's like safety, and everything. It has to be. It has to be with my high school girlfriend, the only girlfriend actually. Let's caveat that. Let's go. Has to be the time when I dated a girl once. Back in high school, so it had to. That had to be it. That had to be the first date. It could either be like, and it was literally as basic as I was 16, she was 15. Yeah, I was 16, she was 15, or we were both 16. I don't fucking remember. But like I went over her house.
Ooh.
And so, wow, I know.
Wow.
But she was with her rich ass dad, who actually is named Richard, who is the fucking man. Richard was awesome. She lived in, I don't know if you know Long Island well, which I think you do. She lived in Ashbroken.
What?
Exactly. Like north.
I grew up in Nassau County, and I've never heard of that in my life.
It's north of Northport.
Oh, okay.
Like way north. Like it's only one road that gets to it, and it's surrounded by water. And you have to go like 30 miles an hour because the cops are dicks.
What is it for, like super rich people?
Oh yeah.
Oh. We have a couple of neighborhoods like that by me. The Karate Kid lives 10 minutes away from me.
Oh, Ralph Macchio? I know his daughter.
Yeah, he used to be one of my Starbucks customers.
Really? His daughter went to Hofstra, and I know her personally.
That's awesome. He's so nice.
Julia actually does she does a touring show. She does Flashdance.
Oh, okay.
She's like the lead.
That's fucking great. Good for her.
Yeah. We have interesting. Me and my friend Tom have interesting Julia Macchio story. Shout out Julia Macchio, who will never see this.
And hi Ralph Macchio, who will definitely never see this.
Whatever. He's harmless.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. He's a badass. But yeah, it had to be that. My mom took me because I wasn't driving at the time. She hit it off with my girlfriend's dad, and me and her just spent the time in our room like BSing and whatnot. It had to be first. It was so like looking back at it now, it was so innocent and like kind of playful. There was really nothing to it because like we were already dating, so it was one of those things where like we were in high school together, but like you always want to spend time outside of high school with your girlfriend, and it's like me going to private school made it difficult because we were on completely like far, like she was literally 45 minutes to an hour just based on her location away from me, and I wasn't driving, so like we could meet up in school, but like the only communication we would have would be either talk on the phone or be on this really primitive thing called AOL Instant Messenger.
Those were my glory days of dating.
So it's hard to meet up in person. So we were able to do it, and from what I remember, it was a dope time. So yeah, that had to be the first date. It was nothing serious and instant. It was just innocent, I guess, in the grand scheme of things.
That's so wholesome.
Oh hush.
I think
that had to be it. Yeah.
This was my first date. So my first boyfriend was in 7th grade.
Wow, starting early.
He wasn't my first boyfriend. The guy I went on my first date with was like my second boyfriend ever, because my first boyfriend broke up with me after 2 weeks because I was too obsessed with Good Charlotte.
Okay. Honestly, sounds warranted.
He broke up with me the day before the Good Charlotte concert.
Oh, that's dick.
Yeah, and I was really sad. So his best friend, was this kid Chris, literally swept in because he had just had a crush on.
Nice.
Oh my god, yeah, he had a crush on me, and I didn't know what to do, and I just rebounded. So I like started dating this kid the next day.
Hey, don't get mad, get even.
So this kid Chris, he was part of a bowling league. He was
Nice.
Yeah, he was a really good bowler. So I guess his league met every Tuesday. So he asked me out to go on a bowling date, and his dad was there, but like across the bowling alley. So we had a chaperone. But like the first half of the
Because
date,
dads don't want to chaperone their sons going on dates.
but like the first half of the date like wasn't actually a date because it was this bowling league practice. So I was just kind of there hanging out until the bowling league ended, and then he and I bowled, and he paid for it. And I think we had pizza, and he won me a teddy bear from the claw machine, and it had like a doctor jacket on and a stethoscope.
Do you still have it?
I don't, and this is why.
Oh, boo.
We broke up a few weeks later because, again, this is 7th grade.
Mhm.
What I'm about to say, like at least I was in middle school in like the early 2000s, so I don't think people were like really like having sex in middle school like they seem to be now.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
So, and I was like, I didn't even like kiss this boy. Like I was very,
Kate, it was 2 weeks. Come on.
I was
What is taking you so long?
I was very shy when it came to dating as a kid. So I didn't even kiss. We didn't even kiss when we were dating. Like nothing. Like I hadn't had my first
Hold
kiss
hands
yet.
at least.
Yeah, we held hands, and even that I was a little yikes about because I didn't know what to do.
Oh my God.
And so I broke up. We broke up because I heard a rumor that he got a blowjob on the bus from some other girl.
Uh-huh.
And like in my 12-year-old mind, like, yeah, that's cheating and stuff, but like getting a blowjob, like that's gross. Like, ew, like I'm not gonna do that. Like he's probably gonna want me to do that. And I was just like not fucking into it, and I like carried on and freaked out, and then he dumped me.
That's weird, because I feel like you would have dumped him. Because, I mean, your instincts were correct.
Getting
a blowjob on the bus
because
is
he
cheating.
claimed it didn't happen, and he didn't like that, like I didn't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is like 7th grade. Like this is not a conversation like in retrospect I should have been having in the 7th grade. Like you don't trust me. Like I was preparing to be gaslighted as an adult, I guess. So I guess it was a learning lesson, but the reason I don't have the teddy bear anymore was a few months later in social studies class, we did a project on Egypt, and we were learning about like mummifying and like sarcophagi. So we needed to bring in a teddy bear or like an animal to cut up and make a sarcophagus out of. So I'm like, I know what I'm bringing in. So I brought in yeah, and he was in my class. So I brought in the teddy bear he gave me on the first date and cut that shit open right in front of him.
Nice.
I was 12.
Nice.
I was very overdramatic.
It's very angsty.
But I don't even know, like, the first time I kissed a boy, like, was equally as disastrous.
Oh, we can do a whole first kiss episode.
Oh, we're going to.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to. Later in the season, y'all. First kiss episode. Get ready.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Mine's pretty epic.
Mine isn't. You're gonna laugh. It's so bad. Like save
it for an episode.
No, I'm just like since we've been working on the show, I've had to like, you know, dig back into like the formative years of like my dating. And wow, I was weird. I think that's why I'm so bad at dating as an adult, because middle school and high school clearly.
You realize how awkward you are when you get older, like how just ridiculous you were as a child.
Like even now, like my adolescence has been coming into a resurgence recently since My Chemical Romance is back together.
My God.
And I'm going.
And Bowling for Soup just did a whole music video and song about Alexa Bliss.
Yo, I want a song written about me. Although that song is, I love Bowling for Soup. They're so much fun. Not a great song, but it's so fun. And the video is just like a weird science ripoff, which I like really appreciated.
So I mean, hey, it's whatever. Alexa Bliss is even in the video, so
They're her favorite band too, which I think is really cool.
yeah. I don't. Being celebrities are freaking awesome, apparently.
And she's dating Ryan Cabrera now. And my middle school soul is sad.
Why? Because Ryan Cabrera's off the market.
Yeah,
You can't have everything. We gave you MCR.
that's true. I said if my Chem and CM Punk return, I wouldn't complain about anything again. So I'm like at the border of not being able to complain about anything again.
Well, I mean, my Chem came back and CM Punk did
Kind of come
return,
back.
kind of, yeah.
That's why I still feel like I can whine a little bit because he's not in the ring.
Whatever.
Yeah, but we'll get there.
Oh, wrestling courses.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we can do. I can lead that episode. That'd be a good one.
do it.
I will. But yeah, anything else on the first date?
Alrighty. What
Oh,
is your?
okay.
You got one? What do you got?
I was gonna say, what is your ideal first date? But you
That's
just
what I
said
was gonna say too. Go. What's your ideal first date?
oh my god, my ideal first date. Because I'm thinking about dates that went well. Or if you call them dates that went well. I remember I was courting this lady, um, who I was insanely into. It's one of those people who are like, in the grand scheme of things, one of those people like we had blatant chemistry, and nobody else knew we had blatant chemistry, and I think we also knew we had blatant chemistry, but we didn't want to tell the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So it would come out in weird ways, like we would hang out for long periods of time, or we would be drunk.
That's a mood.
We'd be drunk and we'd say stuff, and then you'd sober up in the morning and never say a word. But you'd still communicate randomly.
This is so relatable.
No, it's one of those things. So I don't know if it's even like a missed opportunity. Anywho, we were. I think I had just finished grad school or something. Something was going on, and she had actually a big thing for Taco Joe's. I don't know if you ever heard of Taco Joe's.
What's Taco Joe's?
It's like it's like Chipotle and Moe's, but like a lot cheaper.
Ooh.
Like I can get a burrito for like $10.
Ooh. Where's Taco Joe's?
There's 3 locations. They're all in Nassau County.
We're not
And I've
sponsored by
been
Taco
and
Joe's.
I've
We
been
just
to
like
all.
food.
I've been to all 3 of them. One's in Levittown.
Where in Levittown? Hold up.
It's off Hempstead Turnpike.
Where off Hempstead Turnpike? Like by
You
where?
you know where the Friendlies is at by like Jerusalem Avenue?
Yeah.
It's
Right
over
there.
there.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
right next to the gas station.
Perfect.
There's one on Old Country Road, right after the Wanta, right off the Wanta actually, and then there's one off of Merrick Road in Massapequa.
Yo, I wish we don't have that out here.
Taco Joe's is amazing.
We keep opening up Island Empanadas, which apparently is incredible.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah. There's apparently one in Rocky Point. I just haven't found it yet.
Now you make me want to get like Chipotle or something after
Yeah.
we get off. Which I can't do because I need to be in ring shape. Cheap plug.
I was saying that was a good cheap plug.
I try. So when me and her went, I don't know why we went there, but I was like, hey, you want to hang out? Which just like happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, you want to get food or whatever? And so we ended up there, and we were just talking. So like my perfect first date was just to try to getting to know each other. Like I knew her, but we like I never like knew her.
Mm-hmm.
And we like talked for like literally. We stayed in Taco Joe's for like 4 or 5 hours. Neither of us were on our phone. We were just talking and BSing and talking about like everything, and it was great. So my ideal first date, I guess, it's like just talking, getting to know each other, being in each other's presence. It doesn't necessarily have to be something active.
Mm-hmm.
Although active would be great, but I feel like you want to do something where there's can be open lines of communication all the time.
Yeah.
So like I don't have like an ideal scenario. Ideal like I don't know like, things that come to mind. One of the perfect first date like cooking.
Cooking's a fun date.
Cooking together is always an interesting one. Um you want to do something like fun and active. I don't want to say paintball because that's dangerous.
I've done laser tag on a date. It's kind of fun.
Laser tag, even going to like a trivia night.
Oh no, I can't go to
Or
trivia night on a date because I'm mad competitive.
well, that's good. So maybe you need somebody who's competitive.
No, but like I'll be in like a dick, and I don't want to be a dick.
Fair enough, but yeah, I think trivia night would be good because you want to do something where you guys can kind of bounce off of each other and do things. Even going to like which people hate sometimes, Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's gives me horrible anxiety, but it's a great date spot.
Yeah, you got games, you got food, you have alcohol, you got pretty much anything you want.
I like going to carnivals on dates, honestly. I know it's like really kind of like childish and like maybe even a little old fashioned. I think it's fun.
It is fun if you can find the right stuff to do together.
Yeah.
I would even say going to a bar, which has been hit and miss for me. Because I work in the bar scene and the nightlife scene, so it's hard to go to a bar and not run into somebody who knows of my presence.
Yeah.
So I want to do a cabin. A bar is good if the bar is like a low volume bar, like a good bar but like low volume. And you don't know a lot of people. Like I have a horrible look. It's because I'm cheap sometimes. Because like I'll go to places where like I can get discounts because like
Hmm.
I work for them and they know me, so I get like discounts and stuff. But it also becomes an issue sometimes because people will come up and say hi to me and they know me, and sometimes that could be intimidating for somebody that you're on a date with.
Yeah.
So you kind of really have to play it by ear and seeing what you're really trying to do. I've used it to my advantage. I've also, it's also kind of hurt me in other senses. But if you're going to go to a bar, it has to be kind of like a low volume place. So think of like what I like to do, which is a great first date. I think of speakeasies.
That's classy.
Speakeasies are really nice because like you never know what you're gonna go into. Like it's a good way to trick somebody. Like, oh, let's go to a museum. Like, oh my god, I brought my friend
Hmm.
here. It wasn't a date. It's my friend Amala. But I was like, let's go to a museum. She's like, oh my god, I love museums. I'm like, it's not a museum. She's like, what? It was totally. I was like, no, we're drinking. Shut up, please. You know me. Fucking museum. Get the fuck out of here. Also, what was another one that just came to mind? I used to do this a lot when I was younger.
Let's hear it.
Um, hookah bar. Hookah bar.
Yes.
Hookah
That
bar is
was
a
my shit when
great.
I was like 18 years old.
Hookah bar is a great first date spot. I did that a couple of times. It's actually it ties into the story how I lost my virginity. But,
Another episode.
yeah. Um, yeah, hookah bar, classic first date spot. It's good. It's usually low volume. If there's not like a DJ blaring music, but it's a good way to kind of you sit, you smoke, and you have a conversation with somebody. And if you can't do that basic thing, then it's probably not going to work out.
My first date, when my best friend and I were in a relationship, we actually had a really good first date, but the
Mm.
end was weird. So we went to dinner for Italian food because I love me some chicky parm. So like we went to dinner and we're like, okay,
Cheeky parm, really?
chicky parm, yeah.
God. All right, Mandalorian.
So and it's actually a Parks and Rec reference. Aziz Ansari says chicky parm.
So Parks and Rec.
Calls chicken nuggets chicky tendies.
Yeah, I'll get to that one day.
Chicky tendies. So after we went to dinner, we went to this bar in Port Jeff called Portside. Like it's usually like loud and crazy, but we just wanted a drink, and you could sit outside and drink. So we were sitting outside and like having a drink, and like we were going through each other's Facebooks, and we were showing each other really embarrassing old photos of us.
Nice.
So like
really breaking down the wall.
Yeah, middle school emo phase pictures and laughing at each other. Yeah.
Ooh.
Then as we're sitting outside, who happens to walk in the bar but my boss? I was working at Starbucks at the time, and my boss and I did not get along. She was my age, and we were just like completely opposite people. Like she, tall, blonde, very rigid, like does not know how to speak to people, has no personality, and doesn't know how to like deliver criticisms nicely. And then there's
God,
we didn't. So she had closed the store that night, and it was like 11:30 at night. So I knew she was coming straight from Starbucks. And then she's walking, and who does she see sitting outside the bar but me? And she's like, we were both just like, hey.
Awkward.
And then I'm like, and then he was like, do you want to go? I'm like, yeah, let's leave.
Yes, please, let's get the fuck out of here.
But like, it was weird, but like, it was funny because I like people watching. So one of the reasons,
people watching is great, not for a first date, but people watching is really good.
If I'm on it, depends on the date. Like, it's mostly like if I'm going on a first date with somebody that like I'm like familiar with, like people watching I love doing. So like, yeah, I'll go to like Portside, or like Port Jeff in general is like probably like my biggest date spot because like there's so much shit to do down there.
Well, like, yeah, and it's familiar to you as well.
Yeah. So like Port Jeff, I like kind of is one of my like go-to date spots. So like I like to like sit and hang and like watch people. And 9 times out of 10, I see something stupid that I make fun of, and then becomes a memory if like the relationship works out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like doing stuff where there's like the potential to like, you know, like build a bigger bond, like, you know, create an inside joke or something.
You wouldn't do something that's creative and unique. Like I like to like switch things up.
I've also had pretty good like first dates going like on like nature trails. But there's this place out by me called Avalon. I like it's fun.
You're so basic. Will you go hiking?
I like want to be like, yeah, I'm like really into hiking, but like I go to
Avalon. You're not really into hiking.
No, I don't even have proper running shoes. I have Vans and Converse.
Yeah, you're not really into hiking. You like the idea. I
love the idea of being a person that's like, oh, I go hiking. I like to go hiking. I've never been fucking camping. Like, I would die probably.
Nature's not for me, really. Like, hiking is even a stretch. I'm just like, why would the basic activity, excuse me, because it's like killing me that I even have to talk about this. Why would the basic activity of walking excite people? Like, we're walking. Like, that's what hiking is. Hiking is an extended walk. That's all it is.
Have you seen Clerks 2?
Yes. Oh, yeah, when they talk about
even
Lord
the
of the
trees
Rings.
walk in that
Even the
fucking
trees
movie.
walk in the movie.
I love that movie so much. But like, I like that on dates because like, if you're like walking around outside with like a pretty girl and like there's a pretty flower, you can clearly like sneak in so many cheesy moments.
Oh yeah, but you have to be really clever with it.
Yeah.
So you got to be.
I went on a date once and I like made a comment about like how pretty a flower was, and he was like, "Oh, just like you," and I'm like, and then he put it behind my ear, and I'm like, "Fuck, that's
good." It's all about timing.
That's in my back pocket if I like ever find like a pretty girl to go out with.
It's all about you just gotta time it well.
Yeah.
Timing's a huge thing on dates. And I mean, also you gotta have chemistry too. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It is what it is.
I feel like I've had so many like awkward first dates where I feel like I'm contributing like 95% of the conversation and the guy like doesn't know what to do.
Ooh. Because it's hard. Because like, I mean, besides the fact that like, what do you do for a living? You know, where do you live? Like, what do you talk about? Like, you got to come up with good first date icebreakers, which I should be like a very like easy thing to do because like I was an RA, so like I know icebreakers galore. But sometimes it's hard when you're like in front of that person.
A lot of the times I've had like icebreaker conversations come from tattoo conversations. So like either they'll talk about my tattoos or like, I'll notice one of their tattoos and like say like they have like a different Star Wars tattoo. I'll like notice it and then you start talking about like Star Wars. Like I've had so many dates where it's been like Star Wars like frenzy. Like I get a lot. That. I get a lot of that. I also like try to use the environment a lot too. Like that's why I think the people watching comes in handy.
It does. Because you gotta have to be able to think on your toes.
Yeah, which I think like on dates and stuff, I'm good at that. Like I'm not the sort of person that like can just sit in silence because I don't think I'm capable of sitting in silence. I think I can only be quiet if I'm like sedated, and even then, that's probably not guaranteed.
Silence is a very effective tool because you get the. Well, I mean, I use silence for all the wrong reasons in psych, but it's also not all the wrong reasons, but it's a very effective tool.
Silence is something I like if I'm like super comfortable with you. Like if I can sit with you and I don't need to like fill the air, like that's a very good sign. And I don't find that with people very often.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like
Very, very.
if I'm like super, if I'm capable of like being super quiet around you and not needing to like be annoying or cute or whatever, like big deal. Like most of my exes like probably think I'm like the Energizer Bunny because I couldn't handle being quiet with them, and I would constantly need to fill a void with something, even if it was my chatter.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow, I'm like diving a lot into my psyche that I did not realize was there. This is
And
gonna
the
be very
thing,
interest. This is gonna be
and
very
you're not
interesting.
even paying me at
No.
all for any of this stuff. It's totally free to all of our Patreon people, which are gonna need to up our subscribers. We're gonna get this deep and emotional into it, which we will.
Yeah,
Which
seriously.
I
The
promise you.
Patreon will fund our therapy.
Pretty much. Leave it as me. But I think that's it for the first date, right? What
I
else we have
have
to cover?
one question. I
Oh,
have a
okay.
controversial question for you.
Oh, great. What's it gonna be?
Sex on the first date, yay or nay?
Mm.
And why?
Ha. Sex on the first date, yeah or nay? It's got to be going really good.
Yeah.
Um, like it's got to be. I've never achieved that accolade myself.
Okay.
Um, although I mean, because it's hard, because like you think like I mean, even like kissing on the first date is like a huge, is like a thing that's like, um, when we were growing up, a very big deal, and now it's kind of not as big of a deal. Although I still consider it like a big deal, like kissing on the
For
first
me,
date.
kissing's a big deal now that I'm older.
Yeah.
Like, big deal.
There have been instances where I have, swapped saliva with people on. I wouldn't necessarily be the first date, but like sex on the first date. No, I don't like. Could it happen? Yes. Am I open to it? Of course. What guy? What blue-blooded like straight male wouldn't be like open to it? Um, do I think it's a reasonable thing to expect? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I've had yeah. I've had instances where I have two stories. One was a date, one wasn't a date. So I had this weird thing with this girl who's going to be a doctor now. And so I don't see her because she's, being a doctor. She actually pops in periodically in my life. Be like, hey, what's going on? I was like, hey, what do you want? But it was this girl I went to high school with, and we had known each other. We like known each other, went to high school. Like I'm already vetted. Like I'm a real person. I exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know of each other. But for some reason, I couldn't get her, and because she's an anxiety Molotov cocktail. But for some reason I couldn't get her. Like, let's just go out for drinks. Like nothing. Like she was so anxiety ridden, and I don't know why. She's like, "What will we do?" And I was like, "We're gonna go out for drinks." Like that's it. Like she couldn't get over that void of coming to see me, and I could never figure it out. Still can't figure it out because what I'm about to tell you is the last time I saw her in person, and that at this point is probably 8 years ago.
I'm very frightened. What
Huh?
happened? I'm very
No,
frightened. What happened?
here's the problem. Nothing happened. Nothing wrong happened. I actually wrote about this in one of my blogs posting. It's called Once in a Blue Moon. It's actually one of my favorite stories. Um, oh my God, actually just something else has popped in my mind. I can tell you because I can tell you about a first date of sorts
Mm-hmm.
that went nowhere. But we became really close friends for most of the rest um of college actually.
Okay.
It just really just popped in my head when I wrote Runs to the Blue Moon. Anywho, we'll get to the doctor. On the future doctor at this point. On a whim, because like I've been trying to like be like see her and stuff like that, because we obviously had a connection. We would talk and Skype and we would, I was like her pen pal for a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so all of a sudden I hit her up and on a whim and I was like, oh, I could go for a drink or something like that. And then all of a sudden she like gave me her address. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go.
You're taking the hot to Isengard.
Like she was like, come and get me. And I was like, I'm on my way. Oh. And then like I'm getting on like the highway and I get stuck behind construction. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, I don't have a place to go.
I'm imagining an 80s montage in my head. I just need you to know that.
It's very like cartoony, like my feet are like spinning in a wheel, like like, trying to rush out the house. Um, so we finally get there. I pick her up. We go to Applebee's, obviously a place, of course, and we had two firsts. It was Blue Moons. That's where I get the title Once in a Blue Moon. So we had Blue Moons, and the conversation was going well and stuff, and everything. And like I knew her, so like things were going well, and then she played a classic girl move, which I've become more attuned to um, as I've gotten older. So I went to drop her off, and she hovered.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
hmm She hovered, and then I just went for it. We started making out in our car or whatever, and then she ended up leaving. Again, this is the last time I ever saw her. Long story short, months later, we get into an argument. I was drunk.
Oh God.
But I was no, I had a reason. She's like, because she has another house down in Florida,
Okay.
and like she would talk to me because her family would travel down to Florida, and she like hate being around like the family and stuff, and she would text me the whole time down or whatever, and I was like, oh, what are you doing for New Year's? So I'd be like, hey, come up to New Year's at the bar that I work at. At the time, we'll celebrate New Year's together. I was like, oh, I'm coming up for New Year's. I was like, really? I was like, what, for what? She's like, oh, there's this. I'm going to spend New Year's with this new guy that I'm seeing.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's like that's the very short version of the story. So we got into an argument about it, obviously, because I was pissed, and she and the guy that she ends up dating or going to New Year's with is now going to be like her husband.
Oof.
Yeah, that was like 8 years ago.
Love
We're still
it.
yeah, but who keeps coming back and hitting me up and talking about shit? Me. So there's that one. There's another one. There's two in college that I'll talk about, like about hooking up on first dates or even trying to have sex on first date. So this didn't lead to sex, although it should have. It, it really should have. I was um, so my friend, one of my good friends from high school, ended up going to Johns Hopkins for nursing her junior year. Like she transferred, and anybody knows Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins is like one of the premier nursing schools in America. So she was turning like 21 or something. And she turned 21 on a Tuesday, and like at this point, I'm like
I turned 21 on a Monday. I feel that.
yeah. At this point, I'm like a senior in college. I've got the whole Baltimore County and Towson area like wired, you know, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna come out with all of my friends from yada yada yada." In my head, I know what I'm thinking as a person who has like a pretty cool like female friend. She's one of my best friends at the time, and she knows me, and like my first instinct was like, "All right, does she have hot friends?" And then in my head I was like, probably, but I'm like, but I have to tell myself, Rickie, you're not there for that. You're there to be supportive and a good friend and to show her a good time. That's what you are there
But
for.
hey, if the hot friends show, it was destiny.
Oh, this was an amazing story because now that I'm starting to remember, it, I'm starting to smile again.
I see that your face is lightened up.
It's a great. I haven't told this story in a while. Because this isn't a first date. This is like a first encounter with somebody. And so I show up to dinner late because I was being a dick, and I also think I got out of class late. And then they're just like, "Oh, where are we gonna go to drink on a Tuesday?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know. It's Tuesday. Like, who drinks on a Tuesday?" Luckily for me, I found this open bar somewhere that my friends were doing. So we go to this kind of like hole in the wall bar. We're doing like open bar for like the whole night or something, like some Tuesday shenanigans or whatever. Not that many people showed up. I had a couple friends who showed up. So we're there. I show up. I went back to my place. I showed up with them. I met them there. We ended up playing Flip Cup. It's me and this girl. This girl's name is Ashley. Good old Ashley. This ties into another story, which we'll have to talk about another time. So, Ashley and I end up playing Flip Cup with Ashley and a bunch of the other people, and Ashley was horrible at Flip Cup. So, like, I just beat her really quickly because we were the anchor. So I beat her and I started trash talking her because she can't get it out. So this is really intimidating, and I just didn't stop. And so she finally finishes Flip Cup. We go back to the bar, and we start drinking and talking, and like I'm totally oblivious to this whole thing at this moment, and we're just drinking and talking. Like she's very attractive. We're talking like a former basketball player slash former Division I cheerleader.
Ooh.
Oh my god, like
Good
jackpot,
for you, though.
right? Too bad she's a bitch.
Yeah. That's the other part of that description you get.
Yeah, jackpot. Um, so we ended up talking and stuff, and then slowly but surely, I start noticing. I was like, all right, like in my head, like subconsciously, like not subconsciously, but like I started thinking as I'm talking. I was like, wow, she's laughing at all my jokes. She's finding excuses to touch me.
Hmm.
And she seems to get closer and closer to me every time we talk. And then it hit me. I was like, oh my God, she's coming on to me. And so now,
Don't you love that?
yeah. And now I'm in an existential crisis because I'm like, I can't, like, I know what I want to do and I can't do it. I was like, you're supposed to be a good friend. You're not supposed to, don't be the sleazeball. Don't be the sleazeball friend.
So what did you do?
So me and my friend Sarah argue about this point to this day. She says she was blacked out drunk when she did this. So I did the respectful thing possible. I went to my friend Sarah and I asked her. She says she was blacked out drunk and doesn't remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I said, Sarah, I was like, Sarah, your friend Ash is coming on to me. Would you care if I hooked up with her right now in the bar? And this is my version of the story.
Oh boy.
Okay. Sarah told me, I don't care, do whatever you want.
Hell yeah. But there's a trap there somewhere.
No, there wasn't.
There's not a trap.
No, so it was really funny. I was out. One of my other RA friends was out at the bar with me too as well. My friend Andrea, was amazing. Great photographer, by the way. Andrea was like, "Hey, Rick, what's going on?" Like totally like sneaks in real quick as like there's a little bit of a break between me and Ashley talking or whatever. She's like real quick. She's like, "Oh," and she daps me up and she gives me a stick of gum in the dap. And I was like, thank you, because she knew what was going to happen.
Yes.
I was like, thanks. So what ends up happening is, now that I'm aware that Ashley is coming on to me, I don't reciprocate. Every time she wants to like see a video, because she's being aggressive towards me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, oh my God, amazing. Like, I know how it feels. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't reciprocate. I just keep them like, hey, let's drink some more. Because for a while I was like, all right, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Let's just keep drinking and see what happens. Because that's usually my method for everything. And that's pretty much a bad idea. I've learned as I get older. But that's how I learned to like tequila sour. What, it masks the taste of tequila. The sour makes
I hate
works
tequila.
perfectly. So, so what ends up happening is like I forgot what led to whatever. So she starts like really getting on to me, and I keep on denying her. So now like creating tension at this point. I'm a mad scientist. It's really bad of me because I'm showing my hand.
Only to the Patreon. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm creating tension at this point in her own mind to the point where she Freudian slipped.
Oh.
Because I heard it under her breath. She goes, "Kiss me."
Yes.
And so I went for the kill, and then that was pretty much and then that was us the rest of the night. I remember this is back when Charlie Sheen had a psychotic break, and one of somebody's
winning.
Yes, someone's girl's boyfriend was like winning. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite like eras in like celebrity like history is the Charlie Sheen meltdown. Yeah,
the Charlie Sheen meltdown. Yeah, no, yeah, that was a winning moment for me. Long story short, we exchanged numbers. That was on a Tuesday. When we kept talking throughout Wednesday. By Thursday, it was skip class and come see me right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, she was all about right. which I thought was like wild. So we had our moments. It ends badly.
Of course it does.
But then I
All
got with her
things
roommate
end
over.
badly.
But then I got with her roommate over the summer. So who
No,
wins
you did
really?
not. That's amazing.
So, well, I don't get mad. I get even. Although one could say the roommate was more attracted was also as attracted to me as she was, and I was also attracted to the roommate as well. It's one of those weird things where it was like
Mhm.
stupid timing.
Love that.
Stupid timing. But yeah, Ashley, Callahan.
Sorry.
Um, and then all right, so final one of like first dates and like hooking up. I never hooked up with this girl. Did I? No, I never hooked up with Katie. There was this girl, Katie. So I met this girl at a frat party. Lo and behold. And she was pretty cool. We conversed, we hit it off. Nothing crazy. I exchanged numbers with her, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. We'll meet up one day. Thinking I'll never see this chick again.
Hmm.
Not even thinking I'll never see this chick again. I was all about. I was like, all right, she's cute. Maybe I'll hit her up and we'll go out and get food or something like that. And then the next thing I know, she's out like hooking up with some of her frat guy. And I was like, all right, fuck this bitch. I never want to see this girl again. I was like, wow, what a whore. And then it had to be that next Sunday. I was having Sunday night dinner, which I miss those days. Um, and what ended up happening was I was having dinner and then she was like across the dining hall and I walked past her and we locked eyes and we didn't say anything
Hmm.
at all. Didn't say anything at all. And so it was really weird because I think it was like middle semester or something. Yeah, it was like middle semester. And so what I started noticing is that she would be everywhere I was. Like
Interesting.
I would run into her every single day. It got to the point where I knew exactly where I would see her.
That's creepy.
It's creepy because if you think about it, I'm in the middle of the semester. I've already got my routine of where I'm going, where I'm going to be at certain times. Like you develop a routine for every semester. So if you think about it, if routines don't change and people are creatures of habit, she's been there the entire time and I just never knew she was.
That's no. I feel like she stalked you.
I find it really hard to believe. Like she was there the entire like her presence was there, and I just never was attuned to it until I met her. And then we started. Then we like when we saw each other at the dining hall, and then she just kept on popping up everywhere. So I started doing little experiments with it. I was like, okay, I'll go with dinner like an hour later than usual, and then she showed up.
No.
I was like, what? Like there was one time where I was eating by myself, and she came up. I was like, hi, and I like jumped.
Oh my
I
God.
I was like, what the fuck?
So what happened to this girl? Is she in jail?
Now she's not in jail. She actually became, I think she's been, her and her husband now actually, like travel the world and do like, not missionary stuff, but they fight poverty in like Africa and stuff.
Oh, good for
She,
them.
oh yeah. So what ended up happening was she made the move. Um, at one point she goes, we keep, because it got to the point where the semester ended, we had this long winter break, and then the first day of a new semester, I ran into her again.
No, you didn't. Where?
Yes, I did. It was in the middle of campus.
Oh my God.
I was like, you got to be shitting me. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I can't get rid of this. So she came up to me. She's like, we see each other all the time. We might as well get lunch together.
Uh,
And I was like, yeah, actually, that sounds like an okay idea.
I don't like it.
It wasn't as bad as you thought it was. It seemed like she was talking to me, but she wasn't. But we had a lot in common. We had a really good time. It obviously didn't go anywhere, but like it was one of those things that and we ended up being really good friends for a long time.
Oh, at least it was a happy ending, I guess.
It was a middle of the road ending. I have to show you pictures of her somewhere. They're somewhere on probably they're on my computer. I'll just show you a
Can't
picture of her.
wait.
So yeah, the thing is, she's a she I enjoyed my time with Katie. Skinnier than what I usually go for.
Hmm.
Very skinny, but she's cute. Katie was awesome.
That's
And also, no,
good.
like my favorite memory of Katie before we like end the show, because we're
Hmm.
going on an hour. Favorite memory, Katie. It actually is not our lunch date we had. I remember I was an RA. I don't know why it sticks in my head, but I was an RA, so obviously I was down in at college early, preparing for the year. And she happened to like she was living off campus at the time, and we like she hit me up. She knew I was down. She knew I was back down in campus. She hit me up. We went out and got like Italian ices and like sat like roadside and ate Italian ices together and just like spent time and talked and shot the shit together. And
I like shit like that.
that's like my most vivid memory of me and her
Oh,
for some reason. But like it's a memory I really enjoy because it was
yeah.
peaceful.
Hmm.
It was very, very peaceful.
Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, but yeah, sex on the first date probably not going to happen. But there's other ways where you can create magic on a first date.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh,
So but yeah,
yeah.
I think that's it. You
Yeah.
have
Anything else you want to talk about?
no, no, not at all. I have more stories
Yes.
that we're gonna depending on the topic and the subject matter that I can share on future episodes. So if you thought this was spicy,
I have breaking news.
it's getting spicier as we go along. But what is your breaking news?
XFL is being broadcast on ABC, not Fox, right now.
Well, yeah, I knew that XFL.
I didn't. I thought
Well,
XFL
no,
was gonna be on Fox.
no,
That's
it's gonna.
fucking stupid.
No, listen, it's gonna be on all the networks. It's gonna be ABC, Fox, and CBS.
Oh,
They have
like
deals
so
with.
football.
I mean, no, it's ABC, Fox, and ESPN, I think, and also CBS. They have contracts with all of them.
Got you. Okay, that was
So
my breaking news.
the first
I
game is
was
on
mad.
ABC. The first game is on ABC. The second game is going to be on Fox.
Yeah, that was my breaking news. Nothing actually important just happened.
XFL is important, damn it.
Yes, it is. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going on right now. Well, not
Well,
right now.
New York is tomorrow. New York versus Tampa tomorrow,
That's very true. So
which
yeah,
is like my football. Those are my two favorite NFL teams are Giants and Tampa. So nice for
and you're,
me.
and you're not going to Mania.
No, no, I'm not.
Boo.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Yes, please. All right, y'all. It's been episode 2 of Love and War. You got me, the queen bee over here, who's very, very bad at dating. But please forgive me and follow me on all social media. You can find me on Instagram at the Kate Murphy, and you can find me on Twitter at the Kate Murphy _. So take it away, Rickie.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's King Ricky Rose of the Kings of the Rings podcast. And most importantly, I am your general manager of Wrestle Addict Radio. And also, more importantly than that, I pretty much never date anyways. Because I never get to the first date because alcohol usually gets in the way. Find me at Ambassador Biggs on all social media, BIGZ Ambassador Biggs. Find Wrestle Addict Radio and all this stuff. Shout out to our Patreon people, Wade, Mr. Fretz, who comments on everything. Addie, I think, is also a Patreon member. The Vazes, the Vaz family. I don't know if you guys saw their video about the Jericho cruise, which I posted on
I
Patreon.
did. Thank you for the update, Vaz family.
Yeah, Vaz family is amazing, awesome, and obviously Little Johnny. Shout out to Little Johnny because he's amazing. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We will be back very, very well, not soon, but we will be back next week when we talk about something else. What's our next topic?
You'll have to tune in next week and find out.
Oh my goodness! All right, we're getting out of here. See you guys later.
Bye.
So...